The sun had long dipped below the horizon, leaving the world shrouded in darkness. I walked briskly down the desolate streets, my footsteps echoing ominously against the silent buildings. A sense of unease crawled up my spine, causing me to quicken my pace. As I turned a corner, I caught a glimpse of movement from the corner of my eye. I glanced back, but there was nothing there. Just an empty street bathed in the glow of flickering streetlights. Trying to dismiss the nagging feeling that something was amiss, I continued my journey. But that feeling persisted. It was as if an unseen presence was trailing behind me, lurking within the shadows. Every time I glanced over my shoulder, there was nothing to be seen, but I could feel its presence, an icy breath on the back of my neck. I reached my apartment building and fumbled with my keys, my heart pounding in my chest. The hallway was dimly lit, the silence of the night pressing in on me. I stepped inside, closing the door behind me with a sigh of relief. However, as I entered my apartment, a shiver ran down my spine. The room was bathed in an eerie darkness, the only source of light being the faint glow from the street lamp outside. Something was wrong. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I moved cautiously through the apartment, my senses on high alert. Shadows seemed to dance and flicker, mocking me with their elusive movements. I couldn't escape the feeling that they were alive, creeping closer with each passing moment. Suddenly, a chilling gust of wind swept through the room, extinguishing the feeble light. The apartment plunged into complete darkness. Panic surged through me as I fumbled for a source of light, but my efforts were in vain. Then, from the corner of the room, I saw it. A pair of glowing red eyes piercing through the darkness. A figure emerged, tall and slender, its silhouette distorted and twisted. Fear constricted my throat as I realized I was face to face with the shadow that had been haunting me. The shadow lunged toward me, a cold grip tightening around my throat. I struggled against its suffocating grasp, gasping for air. The room echoed with sinister laughter as I fought desperately to break free. In a final surge of adrenaline, I managed to break its hold and stumbled backward, gasping for breath. As I regained my composure, I saw the shadow receding, melting back into the darkness from whence it came. The room filled with a sense of relief, but the memory of those glowing red eyes burned into my mind. From that day on, I could never escape the feeling that the shadow lingered just beyond my sight, waiting for its next opportunity to strike. It was a constant reminder that some terrors cannot be outrun, and that the darkness within us can sometimes be the most haunting of all. As I stood frozen in fear, the shadowy figure slowly approached me. Its presence was suffocating, and I could feel an icy chill running down my spine. I tried to muster the courage to run, but my legs felt like they were encased in cement. The figure's eyes, glowing a haunting shade of red, pierced through the darkness and fixed on me. "Who are you?" I managed to stammer, my voice trembling. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it extended a long, bony finger towards me, beckoning me to follow. Its voice echoed in my mind, a sinister whisper that sent shivers through my entire being. "Come with me," it urged, its tone dripping with a mix of desperation and malice. The compulsion to obey was overwhelming, as if an invisible force was tugging at my very core. Against my better judgment, I found myself taking hesitant steps towards the figure. Each step was a battle, as if I were resisting an invisible current that threatened to consume me. As I drew closer, I noticed something peculiar. The figure's shadow seemed to stretch and contort, taking on grotesque shapes that writhed and twisted around it. It was as if the shadow had a life of its own, separate from the figure it belonged to. Fear clenched my heart, but curiosity pushed me forward. What was this creature? What did it want from me? I needed answers, and perhaps facing it head-on was the only way to uncover the truth. The moment I reached arm's length from the figure, it turned and began to retreat into the darkness. Its shadowy form glided effortlessly, leaving a trail of darkness in its wake. Without thinking, I followed, my heart pounding in my chest. The chase led us through the playground, the swings swaying eerily in the wind and the rusty merry-go-round creaking in the night. The shadow seemed to be leading me to a specific destination, its purpose becoming clearer with each passing moment. We arrived at an old, dilapidated house at the edge of the playground. Its windows were shattered, and the paint peeled away, revealing the decaying wood beneath. The figure disappeared inside, and I hesitated at the threshold, a mix of fear and anticipation washing over me. Summoning every ounce of courage, I stepped inside the house. The air was heavy with a sense of foreboding, and the sound of my own footsteps echoed through the empty corridors. As I explored further, I stumbled upon a room draped in darkness, the walls adorned with sinister symbols and faded photographs. It was then that I heard a soft, raspy voice whispering from the shadows. "Help me," it pleaded, filled with anguish and desperation. I turned toward the source of the voice and gasped. In the corner of the room, a frail and emaciated figure sat huddled, trapped within the clutches of the shadows. It was a person, but their features were distorted and twisted, their body contorted as if in eternal torment. "Who are you?" I asked, my voice trembling with both fear and empathy. The figure raised its head, revealing hollow eyes filled with unspeakable pain. "I am the one you saw in your shadow, trapped between the realms of light and darkness," it whispered. With a surge of determination, I realized that I held the key to freeing this tormented soul. I had to confront my own fears and face the darkness within myself. Only then could I unlock the mystery behind the haunting shadow that had plagued me. To be continued.